your awareness of the map, you can of course still use the
and we're back.
scout marking function, and you can fly around. And
so there we go.
I think what people are going to be most interested in.
Yeah, this is the English
drone. Curious. That's an interesting helicopter you have there, Tom.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Well, we didn't miss
kamikaze
anything.
time. Yeah,
we didn't miss anything. They're showing the drones up.
You know? Can you actually see it?
What is that outfit?
Scuttled at the Battle of Jutland on the 1st June 1960. Yeah, so it's just it's a World War One
unfortunately
bongo
I think you're about to see
ship.
something very soon,
Goddamn.
because I am flying the world's slowest ground-to-air missile.
That is quite slow, yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm gonna use for it, right? He didn't even die.
Incredible.
That yes, these recon drones can be used to destroy enemy helicopters loitering around the space. You have a very long battery life on these, so you can basically fly them all game if you want to. Just keep in mind that if you're controlling
Yeah, look at that
vehicle
fuel,
gets destroyed,
188 minutes.
it will also destroy, well, it will sever your connection to the drone.
I think that's gonna have to be one of the limiting stuff.
The drone cannot capture zones, it cannot land. Even if you go very, very slowly, you will simply explode on contact with the ground.
Oh.
And it will also...
Well, they don't have like
a
wheels or
baseball
anything,
cap
right?
The drone and
Indoors
the
as
vehicle
well.
that you are controlling it with.
Tough.
These people don't have any
When
manners.
you are in the vehicle view, the drone will not circle around. It will keep flying in a straight line.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm gonna use drones for. Like I'm gonna, if like at the start of the battle, I'm gonna use them to scout things if I'm in a good position, and then if I'm in a position that's like near the end of the battle, I'm just gonna use it for like, you know, helicopter seppuku.
Which is going to be the strike drone. These are a bit different. These are not so small, still a bit slow, but they actually carry some dangerous ordnance.
Kind of do, yeah. That's spooky.
There will be 3 different types. The one we're showing you today is going to be the MQ-1 for all nations except Russia and China. Russia and China will get their own unique drone models. By the way, just
it'd be nice to see
here, this is not a vehicle that will be in your lineup.
Yeah, I googled them the other day, and they look
so we
like.
can show it to you.
Yeah, you probably don't know about the
In
Reaper.
the actual game, when the update releases, this will behave much like
Well,
the
it's like that
nuclear
one.
bombers.
Is that
much
by the way on there?
Total bat rating. I believe for the drones it's going to be 9.7 and above. So don't worry, you will not be facing strike drones in your mouse.
And 9.3 and above. Well, I can estimate with
9.60. But you cannot manually select them. You cannot customize them. They will not appear in your hangar. Just
yes,
PSA.
it's not a premium.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, it's also another premium.
Yeah,
which
is
just for
no
surprise.
The RP that you gain with these recon drones, if you're flying a scout drone, those DRP will go towards the vehicle that is controlling it, so towards the modifications and towards ground research, since it is a modification and such an extension of the vehicle itself. The strike drone, however, will gain RP for any aircraft that you are currently researching. Not modifications, of course, but any new aircraft that you're trying to go through in the research tree. I'm going to show you this in a test flight real quick as well. This particular version comes with 2 health missiles. It also has a
Dog was telling me there's a wing long 2 as
camera.
well.
Yeah, well, that's when I googled it. That one was the one that mostly appeared. But the other one is just like a carbon copy of the American one, the Reaper. Well, the Reaper is like this one, but you see a little tail that it has on the back? That one is turned upside down, like in a V section.
On helicopters.
And that's it.
It does, however, fly very slowly, as you can see. At level flight, about 200 kilometers per hour. And these will, as far as I'm aware, spawn in the same point that aircraft spawn, which may mean that you spawn from 15 kilometers
away. 15 kilometers away?
To get to the battle zone. Now, these drones do actually have
take you
landing gear, so in theory, you could be able to...
my god.
But it's not going to be easy.
It's so dinky. I like it.
It is.
The speed is decreasing drastically.
See, because the landing gear is so small,
It's an
you
air
don't actually
brake.
have any brakes, which means the only way to stop this is like a PO2. You have to let it roll.
But you said
out,
that
which
you
is
can't
not
land
ideal
them, they
when you
just
are
explode.
trying to land
So
in a
what's the
tight
point?
and confined space.
Yeah.
The drone itself is also
They just want
rather
to try it
large.
in the
I'm going to
mall,
try and
I
fly a
guess.
bit closer to the ground so you can see.
Do they rip? What's their rip like?
They can rip if they go fast enough, yes.
360.
Find out.
Although I don't want to find out right now.
There's some wiggling going on there.
At high speeds it compresses a little bit, but the maneuverability is alright once you slow down, which I'm going to attempt to do. It is quite literally a toy plane. It's an RC plane. I love it.
It's a little bab. Well, danger bab. I like it.
The slower you go, the better it seems to turn. In fact, look at that. Look at the turning.
That's kind of nuts.
That is very, very nice.
That has to be the tightest turning circle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, apart from the recon drone.
Oh yeah, true. I guess.
Missiles are going to be fun against this thing.
Fly quite slowly
because it'll still have. There's no way of stopping radar locks.
So if you really want to, you can be
you know
a very, very slow target.
To warn you about them.
Yeah, like as I said, this thing is being added for people who don't want to grind out aircraft trees. Like that's it.
The recon drone
pretty much at this point, like for the top, even more so for the air tiers.
Perspective on how big those were. Like for whatever reason, I had a really different idea of what they looked like. But yeah, kind of nice. Very pretty.
Now, in theory, you could be able to shoot down planes with the Hellfires, although I do not believe they will automatically reload in the air, which means you will have to fly back to the airfield to reload them. And Hellfires aren't the best.
So probably this one you can land, but not the Scout one. You guys mentioned like landing twice on this thing.
Yeah. Speaking. And of course, you can also.
But there's no way. So it's going to take you 15 kilometers to get close. And then you're gonna fire 2 Hellfires, and then you're gonna take years getting back to the airfield to rearm to take off again. You're not doing that. Like,
it's not quite as powerful as people were.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't work out in practice, you know that they're gonna be decreasing their approaching time by a lot. One of the hotfixes.
Way ahead in terms of capabilities in actual battle, but this will bring a option for players who may not have helicopters or high-tier aircraft unlocked to actually bring a little bit of CAS into the game themselves.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good as like a sort of a mechanism for that, especially as well if you are in high tier and you don't have like a full lineup or whatever, like you're missing a lot of vehicles, it does sort of give you an option to actually do more stuff. And before that wasn't really possible.
Scout one is going to be way more useful. No, you killed it.
I'm just playing around.
I like it. Yeah, I think in terms of like what it can add to gameplay for people who don't have the options is really good. And that's like probably my favorite part of it, I think.
Yeah, how dare they skip 5th gen jets for drones? Very sad.
This is how the American version looks. Again, this one will be available for, well, the Americans, the French, the Italians, every nation that is not
shown this one like 15 times already.
Are the other ones not ready? I'm guessing they're not ready.
Probably not if that's the case. Because they have shown only 2 guys, right? Like the little Scout one and this one.
Slightly different. Look at that landing gear.
No, they don't need to be researched. They're going to be SP. They're going to be SP columns.
So. What else do we have in store today, Tom?
Lots of stuff. But still, actually, there's a lot of stuff that's not available to be seen yet.
Well, yes, there's a fair few things.
It's a big chunk of stuff. Actually.
Many different
so
things.
First off, we can show you the Alaska. Very, very pretty. I'm sure probably the most riveting thing for everyone in the chat right now.
So they're increasing the for the naval ship, or will Ray had
7.0? Yeah, that's new. I don't think we have 7.0. We're still at 6.7 right now,
I will show you the brief armor layout. I think so. With something like this, there's a lot to look at. I can't really show you every time.
I'll be honest with you, sir. I don't give a shit about these chips.
It's got amazing anti-air armament. Guns itself as well are really, really nice. And something I would like to do is just go and have a little tiny explore.
The 5 people playing top tier naval are gonna have a blast with
really
this thing.
Game, yeah, tangent, but I love it when games add detail in places that most people will never look. Because when you like make an effort to go to those places, it feels like way more special. And I really like that for this.
Please, people, G this so we could justify the money it's used to make this really expensive model. Please, please.
I look at that little JPEG order there. Model and a full train order.
It's got a basketball court. Like.
Do you have a basketball treated?
It's American.
We could use like. That's a good point.
Please, G, please.
But yeah, there's a little. I love this. I found this completely.
We're so far in the negative when it comes to naval. Come on.
Just a little.
We're propping it up. Please.
By the Elena, please.
Alaska actually gets access to 2.
If not, Tech will die.
2 little scouts. Very nice. Yeah. So that's the Alaska. We can also show you the M36B2. Not probably the most groundbreaking or interesting thing for a lot of you, but I think in terms of what it actually offers, it's really, really nice. Because something America lacked before, at least at this BR like 5.7 roughly, is that they didn't really have a gun or a vehicle that could sort of defeat armor in a very adequate way. They mostly had APHE, some like APCR, which wasn't really very powerful. But this is the upgraded version that comes with a heat shell. So now, around this battle rating, lineup-wise, you do have a vehicle to take out.
Take chemical rounds against my World War II tank.
A lot of armor, so like KTs and that.
Why there's a Cold War vehicle on my man?
That can take out those tanks frontally, which is nice because before they didn't have that. In terms of the regular, comparison to the regular M36, it's a little bit slower, not quite as fast, but offensively it is a bit more.
They would think about the V2 in the American trees, or we'll actually have a lineup around. It's not going to be like the spearhead, like the one on the Jap tree or the Italian tree.
But now America has it too. I think that's really good because they did need something like this for quite a while. So it's very nice to see, actually. Big fan.
They should give this thing a recon drone.
The tech tree.
Yes, I can. It is it.
Oh, Shadar, they were talking about it. Just like, do you think the tank destroyer are gonna have the recon drone?
Yeah.
Once again, forgotten into obscurity.
A little bit.
There's like no tank destroyers up top.
It's got more protection there. Like it's not.
No, but even rank 6, right? Rank 6 and 7.
Basically, rarely coming in directly from above. That's always like a.
I would have given them two.
Might actually save you a little.
They don't have artillery. They don't have a scout. They don't have drones. Like it's
pretty nice.
Just thrown into the dust.
This is what we have for America so far. Next up, we are moving to Germany, which are getting a new top-tier jet-ish. The MiG-23BN from the DDR. This is a ground strike version, kind of like similar, kind of like a predecessor to the MiG-27.
That's the attacker they lack for that lineup.
This one still comes equipped with a 23mm cannon. It is currently at a very low bat rating. Just to let you know, this is all work in progress, of course. The bat ratings and stuff are not final. Those will be determined closer to the launch. But before you get very worried, it kind of makes sense why this thing is at this lower bat rating, because it doesn't.
The issue with it is going to be its
any
speed.
kind of air-to-air missile.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
In fact, any kind of advanced
that's the problem with these types of vehicles. The speed makes them very annoying to fight against.
That you get on the MiG-27 in the USS tech.
Does this thing get countermeasures?
It's basically either a
I don't think it does apparently.
Fighter or a dedicated bomber.
Let's see when he closes this thing.
But in terms of air-to-air capabilities, this is really not made.
It doesn't appear so because it's a spaded and it doesn't have any
missiles. You're not really going to be able to kill many aircraft in Air RB. However, in Ground RB, with the targeting computer, you will be able to drop some accurate bombs or some accurate rocket strikes, which is always nice. At this low of a battle rating, of course, it will also be quite useful, filling out a niche here that the Americans...
Finally, the German AR-28 will not have like 52k RP cost.
This is what you can look for in the major updates coming soon. Now we have something for the World War II fans as
At which stage did Germany stop being a Lend-Lease nation?
My total
the 90s?
marmalade. I like it a lot. Weird stuff. World War II
only
stuff
one
is probably my
plane.
favorite. And this is sort of, peak
The
niche
tornado.
for me. You've probably seen this.
I think the tornado was
default, I guess. One of the Panther prototypes. Pretty nice. Not the most. It doesn't change.
Super happy to see this.
Anything a huge amount. Like we
my
spoke about it.
My pick for the update
since
at
the end.
It's going to be fun.
But effectively, it's a Panther D that's a bit faster, better power to weight ratio. But the armor does suffer the frontal plate, which is a little bit weaker. This does mean
but you will still be able to stop mouse shots.
In tandem with this. So the Russian A round can go right through. As we can see,
there you go.
Never mind.
Display there.
Probably not that much.
The damage cam, which is really nice. I really like this. I think this is absolutely brilliant. The shells are more accurately modeled, which is something like a tiny thing I've been wanting for a really long time.
So in the devlog they made it
so
sound as it wasn't that much of a difference.
Great round at a feature angled armor. Can kind of angle, but then, so this is not going to be as safe as the D model. And I think as well, very, very close range. I want to say the 76 can as well get through it. Just about.
There you go.
And it's
interesting.
So armor-wise, it's it is a noticeable.
It's gonna be a less busted up Panther.
But the benefit of it really is that I would probably recommend scrapping the grey camo as soon as you can, even though it's really nice. Because that's really the only thing.
For once, I agree with you. Not with that outfit, but I'm not going to comment on that.
So if you have the other camos for it, you might sort of trick people into thinking you are the D, and they won't go for the front plate, which is going to be very easy for a lot of the common guns.
Oh, well, for that tryhard reason. I thought it was just because it was fucking horrible.
That's
more of a personal impression.
Just push it up.
Very mobile, though, of course. But in terms of
give it a few bush.
Basically offensively identical. And so I always go on this tangent about German vehicles. I'm doing it again now. I apologize. But German vehicles are very, very strong in very particular positions. And outside of that position, they are pretty weak.
Yep.
Because their armor is very, very strong. Just
some of them are very
around this
like the Panther.
Really weak.
Like the Panther.
You just put them in a bad position. You're going to lose all their advantage and die very quickly. And so if you kind of have that game autopilot on of just spawning in, holding W until you see something, and then react at that point, this tank will be much worse than the Panther D. But if you take it out with the intention of using the mobility to get it into a good spot in the early game, which the other pandas can't do, it will perform better. So as long as you're more like actively aware of what you're doing, it's going to be actually
the main issue I have with this one
will
is always
actually add something to the lineup, because it does do something the others can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, if played, I don't want to say correctly, that's not really possible, but, you know, if played smartly, better than the D. If played not really very smartly, probably a bit worse. But overall, really nice, and we can have a very nice look at the damage as well. It's all like generated on the fly as well, which is really nice. And I think with some of the higher caliber rounds, so what should we use? Use the large one?
The big boy.
The biggest?
One thing to note, by the way, with the new kill cam, hit cam, is that it will also show the penetrations of internal modules and armor plating, which is going to be quite useful in the higher tiers where you find tanks with more
that one
internal
didn't
plating.
Show it.
Didn't do it. Every time they go for like that meme-ass option, that old joke, it never works out.
That may just go straight through the engine.
There you go.
Another nice thing as well, if we can go, I guess, here, is it sort of shapes the internal modules, as you were saying. Like, it does actually, you can see the little effects on there, which is really nice.
Can you actually shoot from behind through the engine? I think it should be able to go all the way through.
See.
Not at that angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like, all the damage that goes through, and I think it's like, it's one of those things that's not, like, massively game-changing, but it's just kind of nice and fun and just cool to look at, and I think those kind of changes are always, like, really welcome, so
yeah,
good stuff.
Always my favorite stuff in most updates is this stuff. I really like them.
Yeah, because it's the things you see day to day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice quality of life
even if you're not interested about all of these vehicles, you're still going to have to see the kill cam and your hit cam all the time.
Yeah, like a single vehicle, I might use it for 3 or 4 days at most, where that will be used on everything.
The A10, and we get 2 versions. One in the tech tree, currently sitting right here after the IL-28SH. So if you want to get your hands on this as soon as possible, this is the tree that you want to be going down on. And you also get a premium version, the SA.342L, which comes with a check, roundel, and camouflage. Quite nice. Now I'm going to show you the ordnance options that each of these have. The SU-25 in comparison to the A10 has a few differences. One, the cannon isn't quite as powerful and doesn't have as much ammo. So whilst you can do some limited against lighter targets, you won't really be able to kill
the main thing is the A10 has Mavericks and this one doesn't. It has ship missiles.
So it says,
in fact, let me just quickly
not only Maverick, but the guided ones as well. The
WGB missiles, if you want to. Only 2 of them, not 4, so that is an advantage the A10 Tech Tree version has. You get more of these missiles. You can have a bunch of rockets like these.
Mavericks are shit.
Big rocket.
You can have
Mavericks are very good.
The KH-25ML, which is infamous at top tier. It's a very good one. You can have KH-29Ls at the same time as well. And just really overload your vehicle if you want to.
Like, if you take off, especially with the bomb loadout, it is immensely heavy.
Didn't load properly.
Yeah.
There we go.
I wonder what's the difference between the two.
Very hefty.
Probably
very heavy, but it is also quite powerful. The SU-25 is much faster than the A10 at the cost of not being able to turn quite as well. In fact, I'll show you
That's not saying much.
The game real quick. We'll go into test flight and see how it performs.
How much you want to bet that one of the missiles just doesn't work?
It's guaranteed. It's a tradition of these.
It's the tradition of the dev stream. In the test flight, every single
time.
BBD,
half of his missiles didn't bloody work.
Like clockwork, it never changes. I think this is probably, in terms of Russian aircraft, it might be one of the most.
Mavericks aren't that good at 11.0 plus. Great. Well, this thing's 9.3 and the A10's 9.7. So
11 plus.
Nice.
Is there more than that?
At the top as well, though not that useful in RB mode. It should be more useful in simulator mode.
The Maverick, in my opinion, is way more useful than these Soviet ones. The reason why these ones are used at top tier is because of the MiG-27K and its sight.
That's because of the guided bombs it has.
Yeah, exactly.
The guided bombs and the camera.
Now,
and the speed, because you can get up to the
the rockets. You have the same
essence of the space.
These missiles are nice, but the amount of times I actually see people use them and be effective in them are not very high. Where Mavericks are much easier to use.
I guess you better remember about this KH-29 warriors.
Yeah.
Better remember all that
shit. Can we make it work is the question.
I have every faith.
As you can see, a bit sluggish in the turning, especially when you have this much ordnance on you. It does look impressive, but it does hinder your capabilities. I am going to lock the target.
Break the cycle.
There you go. Let's see.
Should be ready for launch.
Alright, so now at least you can kind of lock them up.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this system cannot
there you go. That's the rubber one.
Targets. So if you are firing at something that is moving, you will have
to
that's
the other thing. It doesn't track moving targets.
It's useless.
Of course, unlike the MiG-27,
so you gotta manually track it. Whereas always Mavericks are, they auto track.
It is best used against stationary targets.
I guess it's better than normal rockets.
It doesn't get fire and forget missiles like the A10 does with the AGM-65s. And overall, it is going to be a faster but more, or rather a less maneuverable option than the A10. Now, I think you guys want to hear the gun sound as well, don't you?
Very.
Let me find a little SBA over there and hopefully don't crash into the ground because
it's those Russian weapons are right now. Pretty cool.
That is a house.
It is a heavy boy. Gun is quite effective against light targets, but as I mentioned, it isn't the most effective against more heavily armored targets. I will give you the penetration stats in a second. Here in the modifications, the best that you're going to get is 55mm of penetration. Although, to note, it is actually an
stock ground is going to be so rough for this thing.
Should do more damage, you just don't have much in terms of penetration.
Hopefully they at least give it like stock R60
or something. Is that the premium
probably
version
gonna get like a couple.
Same loadout, but gets access to the R60 MK missile, which should have
so it's better.
Otherwise, it is very much identical.
The MK, the difference was the K was it was more resistant to flares, if I remember correctly. We'll talk about them when they added it.
Yeah. Go for it.
Next up, we have a rework.
This is my jam again. Lots of jam for me today. Model rework T60. This thing had a lot of crust on it in terms of the model in War Thunder initially. It was one of like the. Like it had the most sort of like dirt on it, like by default. It was, you know, in very poor shape, and now it's got a nice little rework. Looks very clean. Of course, the armor is nicely redone as well. You know, it's probably not going to hype many people up, but I love this kind of thing. It's really nice. You know, going through retroactively and improving.
As I said, the reason why they're updating these models is because they use the same ones in Enlisted.
It's the T60.
So like,
T60.
We've had a bunch of low tier updated models recently, and it's because they're from Enlisted. So if you are interested in Enlisted, one of the things to do is to track which models are being updated, such as how the TBF was updated recently for no apparent reason. So maybe you can kind of guess where that's going to be in the future.
This is the DT80 UK, the newest squadron vehicle coming in the next update. In case you're unaware, squadron vehicles are a different kind of vehicle. You can research them by being part of a squadron, and you can get them without actually researching the tech tree that they are in. So this is going to be the easiest way for many players to get their hands on a top tier vehicle, and it's also going to serve as a nice backup for players who may have the SU-22, for example, another squadron vehicle, or some of the other
BMP-2M, another squadron vehicle.
This is basically a T-82, the commander version, which gets access to the Stora ATGM Dazzler system.
As long as they add them to all of the other nations, I'm fine. At least now the big three are gonna have their top tier squadron vehicle.
Top shell is going to be the Freebie M46 with the following penetration values. I think you can see that very well. You don't have any active,
as a person who has spaded the T-80U, this thing will be very fun to use.
As an active protection system,
so it's pretty strong
against Hellfires. And yeah, it's basically a T-80U, has the log.
Doesn't work against most stuff, that's fair.
With some added protection from the Dazzlers and a very nice base camo. I actually like the way this thing looks.
Yeah, it's a nice vehicle. I think in terms of adding it into the game, this is probably the way that makes the most sense. As you know, there's a lot of MBTs already in the tree that are sort of the same thing, and you know, a little bit of a side modification fits really nicely, I think, for a squadron vehicle. So yeah, to have it in this way, I think.
T90 mains on Suicide Watch.
Should at all? I don't know.
Hope you like your reverse speed.
This has been hyped for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, do they deserve it? I think maybe they deserve it.
I think they do.
Have they been nice? Oh no.
Well,
Skink. Take it away, Tom.
Look at this boy. He's not the most attractive fella, but you know, we don't even care about that. Look at this. Finally here. Bit of a skink. really, really nice to have because Britain was lacking some competent anti-air immensely.
For about
really.
6
The
years.
best they had was some of the early stuff until he got to the Falcon, and there was a huge gap.
Well, join the
middle,
club,
which is really, really good. That we now have
there's many nations which have like
like
huge
6
gaps.
nations out of 9 that have them.
It does have the face only a mother could love.
But, you know, still, it's ability.
Yeah, now we have the Istavak,
really nice.
the Skink.
I think the main thing about this...
And they added stuff like the M16, the M42 and stuff like that to Japan. Then I think China got a few ones. They've really, the last few years, they've
if they're not open top, they can't be strafed.
Really improved
it adds a huge amount of ability to the vehicle, which means you are kind of immune from a huge amount of ordnance that can be, you know, launched your way from aircraft fighters and that kind of thing. Because they're very, very easy to knock out, whirlwinds and stuff, and they can be splashed with overpressure very easily as well from rockets and bombs and stuff. And this thing is close to immune from a lot of cannons from aircraft in the game.
Yeah, it's gonna be the biggest thing.
You're
gonna be
really dangerous, actually.
No, not immune at all. Even more so against planes, but you're gonna have
if someone is sort of
an enclosed fighting compartment at the earliest.
But in terms of somebody flying at an angle, that's going to be a lot of spread going towards you, which is really good.
Actually, can you check
and if they fired you with those cannon rounds on the
that you mentioned with the
on the roof, you're gonna be done for your waist.
Yeah, let's have a look.
This is where it sends the attack tree, by the way. It is right between the Istavak and the Falcon.
So, these
are pretty nice turrets as well on elevation.
In the world. Well,
sometimes,
but not always. They're not like the
weird
best overall. They're not a German like caliber in terms of damage. But the spread from the front is a little bit tricky sometimes. But in terms of an enemy sort of flying at an angle, which I can't really show you here, I guess, it's really, really, really competent. They don't have a lot of ammunition in the belt itself. They keep continuously firing. They will cycle through, but the reload is very, very quick. Same as
the reload's
really,
pretty
really
nice, so it's fine.
So you can fire a lot of rounds off, and like that really did hurt the Whirlwind a bit because there was a time when it couldn't really do anything, and it was, you know, really vulnerable to being strafed. Not a problem with the Skink. It's just not going to happen.
Shit, and if they keep it to 4-7, it's going to be part of that pretty nice 4-7 lineup with the militia going there.
Churchill, Avenger, Sherman Firefly.
It's about 42mm max. So you're not going to be taking out a huge amount of vehicles, sort of, especially from the front. But light stuff, you know, it's pretty capable. Not the most mobile vehicle, I guess, in terms of maneuverability, but in terms of reactiveness from the turret, it's really, really
no
nice.
Smoke grenades.
So
dead on arrival.
Very, very dangerous vehicle. Love to see it. Love to see it. Very happy to.
Concept 3 as well.
You know, lineups and everything, just because, you know.
It's just a meme. People have been waiting for this for years now.
It's a Reddit vehicle. It's a funny hee Reddit vehicle. Let's go. Love it.
No, this is actually pretty useful. Right, from the retards array that just take meme
we are getting a new wheeled tank destroyer, the Type 16 prototype. This is right here before the
They're just gonna not give it the mega round. I bet you that's like the main difference.
Yeah, or it won't have thermals or some shit. Let's see.
Less armored version with also
less armored. Yeah,
no
like the Type 16 is a fucking pinnacle of armor.
Play very similarly to the Type 16 that you are already familiar with at the higher badge rating. Although
we've made it more boxy.
At rank 6, and as such, it does also get access to.
Oh, it has. Yeah, it doesn't have the mega round, and it has the thermals, so it's gonna be really useful.
I'm not entirely sure. We can check it out in a second.
Shit, you know that the Japanese tree is one of the most mediocre ones in the game, so I'll take everything.
That is why
87's not bad for the Japanese right now.
Type 93.
Or the Type 87
quickly check
and
out
stuff.
What kind of thermals
it's pretty fun.
This one gets in a test drive. It should be a nice, just a nice filler for the 8.7 lineup.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's that's the main thing with it, really. It's one of the most groundbreaking edition, I guess. Yes, very cool.
That's a very, very good site, actually, for this.
Well, it has
this one has one of the best ones in the game. I don't remember what fucking generation it was.
Type 16 has Gen 3, so...
Yeah, Gen 3. So you know that from Gen 2 and onwards, what's the difference?
Yeah, there's not really a
difference. Crystal clear.
VFX that we're introducing in the next major update. When you hit a vehicle, there are going to be some new effects. You may notice sometimes, especially with solid shots, smoke and flames coming out of the impact points. Explosions are going to look much nicer. The smoke is going to look much nicer. fuel explosions, ammo racks, they're going to be a lot more impressive. This will also be a thing for naval, not only tanks. So overall,
I love the secondary explosions.
Your feasting for the eyes should be a lot more satisfying.
Yeah, I like the fact that now, so the way that they're doing it now with like ammo detonations, they have like different.
Yeah, like I really do like the nations. Just like the bird's eye view that you can get with those.
Little explosion.
It feels different.
No, he crashed the drone into a tank.
But when tanks die now, they won't all look the same when they die. Is the best way of putting it.
Your own awareness,
they're going to look
is
different.
Very important. And you can also use it to distract enemies. Say if you know there's a guy in front of you, launch a drone, see if he looks away, and then you can surprise him.
Yeah, it does add a lot of potential for playing the game differently. Which is, yeah, pretty nice.
Call the ambulance.
I don't really know how common they'll be. I'm sort of a bit worried they'll be immensely common and everyone will just hammer the button at the start of the match every time and then it's going to delay people getting to the points, etc. But who knows?
Hatsuharu? Yeah, I don't know what that is. It looks like a destroyer, though.
It's a really nice addition overall because it lets you do different stuff.
Is there another one of those? Japan wasn't allowed to build anything, so we're going to use an American destroyer for like 20 years.
The Chinese, in fact, a lot of things for the
It kind of looks like
from the post-war period.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the AFT-9. Very much like a Mephisto copy, sort of.
Thank God they didn't show
it as a copy, but
thematically
very similar.
Useless.
Very mobile hull. Obviously not very much armor. Main thing here really are the missiles, which are pretty nice.
Maybe want to spay
it. A lot of penetration, and for this here, obviously the BR might change, but even so, in higher BRs,
hopefully not.
Well.
Hopefully it goes downwards if that's the case.
No, I know. Do it. We gotta make the store work.
A round like that is always going to be usable.
Crank out. Everybody use the Brennus so we can counter this thing.
The positioning and the armor are like
the beautiful IRC
present no matter what battle rating you have it at. So on the
it's a light war destroyer.
Vehicles in your lineup may not
well,
work
I know that the issue with Japanese stuff is they name like
a vehicle like this
3 different vehicles the same bloody thing.
In terms of effectiveness, if you put it in a good
spot, it's really hard to follow.
Really nice. I like that. I think it's early thermals. This one has nothing super impressive. And the best missile does come stock as well, so that's a nice little boon.
Why would I take this over an 8.0 Bradley? Why would I take this over a what is it? PTL09? No. PTL02. Why would I take this over a WMA301?
You will actually be able to use it to research
they're just better in every way.
This is a bit
better just supporting Beagles for anything. The problem is that if you don't have the premiums of the squadron Beagles, A3 China is not really a thing.
No, 8.0 and 8.7 might be.
I won't recommend bringing this one as their spearhead of an A3. They're just to get a support one on the A7 one.
So right around the end or an hour
give it scouting, please.
If you want to check out the dev server, you will find
it on Google, an artillery.
Download the dev server yourself. Now, we have the 342 Gazelle L with a very, very nice camo scheme. I actually really like the swing loads.
See, Mike has the correct
These are the missiles that we have access to. The
That's weird-ass mint camo from the south end.
Penetration, it's not a tandem warhead, so ERA will be able to defeat his missile. It's decently fast, nothing really too special. You also have the one that
it's just on a starting helo. It's perfectly fine for a starting helo.
This is one of those vehicles that is now off my bucket list of stuff I want in War Thunder.
Yeah.
If you play Battlefield 3, you will remember the Z11. This one has access to a few more advanced
true, it was a little scout helo over there. I forgot about it. But it didn't have ATM.
It is a 10 warhead, so it should be able to defeat ERA and has slightly more penetration as well.
They only have so few of them as well. Like 36, 14.
Similar to the premium Z19E, which has access to the following missiles. You get air-to-air missiles. And you also get the AKD-9 missile, which is faster, it's also a tandem warhead, and has
laser
penetration. You can carry it all off.
Yeah, that's the one that behaves like like the Hellfire. It does a little
loadouts, you could actually take out both the air-to-air missiles, which you get out also 8 off, as well as the air-to-ground missiles, and have a pretty hefty loadout, actually.
Yeah, it's really nice. I like the look of this one. It looks a bit like...
It's an Apache.
Yes!
This might sound really stupid, but it looks like it's made up.
It is definitely a helicopter.
Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
I guess.
No, it looks like it's made up.
It looks like it's made based on like 5 other things and it's put them all together. Like,
you have just described the Chinese military as a complete...
Did you please
say what happens when they buy a lot of technology from other places and they mix them up with their own stuff.
A few things to note. This one doesn't have any any cannons, unlike the Apache, so you probably don't want to get too close to enemy tanks. You do have thermal vision for the missile camera.
Fuck cannons. All my homies hate cannons.
Also get
Missile
have some
gaming.
50 gal pods.
No main gun. Gazelle never had a main gun to begin with, so you can
50 gal pods, man.
That. This one without any thermal vision.
So
So I look forward to Chinese helicopters in the
yeah,
next
this will be
update.
nice.
All right, enough China. Let's
Lovely
move
to
on
see after
Italy.
2 years, 2.5 years.
This is the premium VRCC Spanish
The
vehicle,
Vautour.
first sort of official
Vautour.
Spanish
Vautour.
vehicle, which is very nice. It's
Vautour.
nice to see the sort of smaller
se dice
nations in terms of
Quijote, ¿no?
military strength be shown in the game in some way, and this is a really nice way to do it. So this
The armor
is
on the turret does look really cool.
Gentile
Like,
modification.
it's going to be
Basically,
completely
look
useless,
here,
but it looks nice.
we can see.
Yeah, like this thing is just gonna be a better
This kind of
Centaur
combines
armor.
elements
Yeah,
of the
pretty
other
much. You lose the-
Centauros available.
The extra weight.
So
You lose the fat armor that is in
and the
Warship,
remote, which is gonna be
and you have
VR.
your smoke grenades
It has
back.
the engine
Yeah.
performance of the 120. It has the thermal, very advanced thermals as well. I'll show you very briefly.
And a
So-
better engine.
Yeah, and
it
it
has the
probably has
rounds
it
of
probably
the
also
remote
has
as well.
the
I've
it has the engine and also Gen 2 thermal. So yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
And I'll
I've
very
been using
quickly as well show
recently
you the
on my own end
thermals, which
the
are quite impressive, actually.
8790 Italian
Adds a
lineups, and
lot
they are
to
pretty good.
What you can do with Italy.
People
But
get hyper
not quite,
fixated with those top tier
16 level,
Italian
but
shit
still
boxes, but
pretty
these
good
weights are
overall.
for the Italian tech.
It's got better
Love to see it.
thermals as well,
Really
though.
love to see it.
Does it have a
Doesn't have more on
Yeah,
the
you got the Gen 2.
I'm on
Yeah,
Jan's
it's a
mouse,
Gen-
so I
Gen
can't
2
actually
just
set the button up. But yeah, it's pretty nice.
Pay to win
Nice little
Spanish
mans. It looks
vehicle.
very sort of,
Goddamn.
I don't know, something about the extended part around the wheels on the top makes it look quite sweet to me.
It's an
I like
appropriate.
that. So yeah,
It's an
very nice
appealing
vehicle.
premium
Also
to have. Like you said, it's
another
boring,
vehicle
but
to
it's
bolster the
appealing
lineup
if you
as
want to
well,
grind this
which is
whole
the
area.
GeForce
Have a pretty good
which is
capable
the
vehicle
earlier
for
version.
your block.
Functionally, I believe these are
Oh, there you go.
immensely similar.
We have the
only
YS, and
difference
this is the
that this
spray
vehicle
version of
can't
that.
carry,
Another one of these
AIM-9Bs.
shit vehicles.
I
It
believe
doesn't
that's
have
something
different.
sidewinders.
Time to look at it.
Motherfucker,
Compare
dude.
them either.
What's
Ah, that
wrong
doesn't-
with you,
That doesn't
Italy?
seem. That doesn't seem right. Had 9.3. It's probably gonna have some 99Bs or some shit.
This
man.
thing only has
This
two
version can
AIM-9Bs, the
get-
G91YS. Like a
Yeah, they
9.7,
are
dude.
very, very similar.
Shit,
but
man.
add some more to the
So
lineup.
probably
You can
not.
use 9.3 now, and you can make a lot with this thing. And
They
so
mean you
kind
know
of,
it.
like as additions coming together, they
There's a reason I've
That's Italian
spaded that
Swiss
thing, man.
technology. It's
The
Italian
VRCC
Swiss
is not
technology.
going to be
What do
the
you mean?
only premium.
Imagine
coming
flying
to
this
Italy
thing
next
against
update.
all the
We
fucking
also
crazy
have
missiles
this,
that
the
exist right now.
T129, a Turkish variant of the
S20.
A129.
Oh, you're gonna have a
that you
perfect
may
opportunity
or
to
may
defeat
not
the
know.
S25, the
Now, this is very
SU-25
similar
tech.
to the,
And you're
A129 series, of course, but with
Yeah,
a
I'll face the
unique
A10s and the
distinction.
SU-25s
One,
together.
it gets
Fantastic.
unique air-to-ground missiles, the HMAS, which have similar penetration
And the
performance
Skink.
to the
The
Hellfire
Skink.
80 gems, as well as being able to loft like the Hellfires do. Although they travel a bit slowly, that is going to be an issue at longer ranges.
180 meters per second.
And
That is a tad bit
where
slow.
the other type of missile that this vehicle gets comes into play.
Surprising
For
it
the
goes
first time
that
in War
distance
Thunder, we
with the
have laser-guided rockets.
laser-guided rocket.
Curious.
Yeah. Now they're probably gonna be, in the future, they're probably gonna be in that American one, the APK or whatever it was called.
Can still dumbfire them. They will try and fight.
Yeah, but I'm glad this guys had the premium helicopter going, man. Like it was unacceptable that you
up at an optimal angle.
you know that the player base of the Italian is minimal compared to other nations, but you can't expect people to grind that through with only that
with some skill,
shithole Italian Huey. Yeah, that was not gonna be.
AA that's sitting 10 kilometers away, lob some heat rockets their way and hit them with the assistance of
It's
the
a guided
laser-guided
rocket,
system.
yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to try and
That's
demonstrate
basically
that,
how it
although be
So
warned, I am
you sort out a
not the best
target,
at
it'll
helicopter
fire,
elements, so
This
we'll
is
see
the
how
it'll
that
fire
goes.
ultimate
towards
test
it
of
and
test
like
drive performance.
and it'll arc
do we
towards it,
think?
but it will be able to hit stationary
The difference
targets,
between
but
these
it
and
won't be
regular
able to hit
HMs is
moving
that they are
targets.
not very maneuverable. You basically have to launch them in the rough direction of the enemy vehicle, otherwise they're not going to be able to hit. You also can
Wait,
do...
maybe not.
Let's
Oh, wait,
see.
did I take the wrong missiles? No, I did not. I do need, however...
That's a journalist in the
it's not gonna
hard. It's not the
track.
hard tracker. No, it's not the hard tracker. It's this. There you go. That's the hard
Now,
tracker.
you can try and fire them. They fire straight, but
There's
if
no
you
way
are
this
too far
hits.
off, they will not be able to hit. You can
What?
see they do adjust. The penetration isn't the best. It's only
So they're just
90
missiles
millimeters,
then?
So you're not really going to be able to
Yeah,
deal
with a
much
slow
damage
penetrate,
to,
with
top tier
a bit low
missiles on the
penetration.
side.
Yeah.
But let me see if I can do a little bit of a lobbing action.
Why are these not called just missiles?
Kind of nuts. These are like light stuff, and how like forgiving that is.
Yeah, it does take a lot of skill.
Why are we giving them a different name?
Right direction,
you should have the tanks are over there.
They're guided rockets? Yeah, that's what a missile is.
Let me see if I can.
If they are just trajectory overfly, what else are they?
Gonna fire high. See if that will do the trick. This one, I believe, has not been able to reach the.
You can still dumbfire them?
So I fired a little bit too high. You need to get them roughly in the area that you want them to be. Otherwise, they're not going to be maneuverable enough to hit the target by themselves. It will take some skill to get these working properly, but it will give you an option to deal with SPA at longer ranges that the normal HGMs just don't give you. You don't have the range with the normal HGMs. You don't have the speed to deal with, or rather to outspeed the SAMs that the enemy anti-aircraft.
Well, that kind of applies to a lot of the other guys.
This will give
These
you
helicopters are still bullshit.
Option.
Don't worry too much about it.
But allows you to deal with those vehicles a bit more effectively. Yes. All right. Next up, we have. What do we have actually? Need to check the script.
That one.
Right.
That one there.
We have the big one. France players, rejoice! You have not been forgotten. You
have another aircraft. By the way, you've got.
I forgot about it. Oh shit! They're also gonna get in a Jackson.
Everybody gets one. Shit. You get one. You get one. You get one.
With the wonderful 5-7 lineup with the French of no biggers. That's some proper tree.
ARL44 players rejoice.
No, that's 5-3.
Never mind.
You also forgot about it because who fucking remembers about the Arrow? Yeah, when we were playing it the other day, one of the boys also remembered that.
Oh, Dauphiné players rejoice.
Yeah, the two people that got it rejoice.
Dauphiné. 530D. This one should perform similar-ish to the 530F, but with a much better tracking system. As far as I'm aware,
I'm glad they are doing that shit, man. Like adding all of this, all of those like.
Be able to maintain it like much more.
not even Lend-Lease, just export the bigger all over the place.
Yeah, it's good.
This tree has so many trash liners without anything on them.
Like when the French tree released, it had like no. I think it had one American vehicle, the Jumbo, and like nothing else from like Britain, America, or anywhere else, and it was terrible to grind.
Well, look at the Japanese, look at the Swedish,
and the Japanese.
Some of the VRs.
Yeah, it's so much better now. Like so much better.
Look at the Switch in some of their tiers. They barely have one beagle on them, or two.
This will get some more advanced radar later on.
But don't worry, the Israelis do not have that problem, because they have mass-produced all the Magachs.
Yeah, well, now they're not gonna have it as well.
Exactly.
Now they're not gonna have it with the reinforcements going out. Yeah, but you know that Israel is only 2 tiers, 7, and 9. All of those were pretty trash.
Tracking's pretty good. Of course, later on, with the proper radar, you will be able to look down, shoot down as well.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a very good missile, very good tracking.
Yeah, BD was acting a bit wonky when he tried it out himself.
Yeah.
You can think of it as being roughly equivalent to the AIM-7F Sparrows, which are quite good and found on the F-14, for example. And
they are. I agree.
Of course, you have access
I had a
to
very enjoyable
and
experience
the
playing that thing.
So you can do some limited ground tracking as well. Although this is really more of a fighter Mirage.
Well, you and Rocker have played this Mirage quite a bit, eh?
Yeah, I spaded the 3C and the E, and I've nearly spaded the 5F.
From what I've seen as well, which is
I haven't played the
F1.
F1.
People having a pretty good time with it overall.
Don't really feel like it.
You can pull pretty hard.
If there's nothing much going on, what's the deal?
Upturn, although, of course, if you do some
no,
you may make your wings at higher speeds. But overall, it's a very
it's really funny with Doritos in the game because you can make them just do stupid moves.
As well
at the Draken, you can just kind of throw about the plate. It's really fun.
For the crown that the F-14 is currently holding.
Crown.
Where's that coming in the tech
so.
tree though? Yeah, it's the F-14 will dick on this.
But
the MLB.
Another one?
Yeah, and the MLB.
How'd they do that? Yeah, so basically nothing really new apart from a couple of different changes on the model. It does get a second machine gun on the top.
What about the late Vautour?
Yeah, not the most exciting thing in the world again.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice it has an extra vertical on the top.
Lineups as well, which is the main thing with it. It's offensively pretty much the same. No change really in terms of the shells and stuff that it gets. But it does give you more options for
once again,
and
these vehicles are
thing
great
to have in the lineup, which is really important, especially for France. So yeah,
kind of annoying that this thing gets overpressured though.
All of the skins look
that interesting. Not a huge deal.
You can make all of the skins look really nice and like way more than the other one, other variants.
Not that way.
It's a very new model. This very new.
The French do have very good skins.
Nice, and I like that a lot. I'm very into
Forad camo enjoyers.
Like that. So this
are the best.
Tricolor car, bicolor, always a classic. There you go. That's a proper one. Forad cam.
Why is it there in the tech tree?
The premium one that you
what are you doing?
It's right in between the F-85F
and the F-35. So it is a new one. I thought it was gonna be the fucking replacement.
Oh my god! Oh no! Semi-active? No, fuck off.
These are the fat ones, right?
Yeah, they're the ones which need a radar lock. And the radar on this thing's trash.
There's a reason it's A7. They're gonna be more of an add-on more than anything.
Fucking hell, man.
Lower battle ratings.
You're gonna be cheating at a Canberra just flying around.
Basically.
Jesus, wet.
I can show you the stats again so you can check it out.
Oh my god.
Not the best launch range, not the best speed either. It is...
The missiles don't matter. The radar doesn't work.
It's going to be your earliest option.
Like, literally, doesn't matter. Those things could be the best missiles made by man. They could be AIM-9X's, you know, semi-active versions. Doesn't fucking matter. The radar's trash.
Sweden. Look at this, man.
It's kind of one of those that you take just for the sake of taking them, right?
An carrier. It's actually pretty different.
Hey, there you go. That's some real firepower.
Let's show you its position in the tree. Here, currently in the tree, in between these mans. So I used the same.
So it had that fucking belly, man.
The build.
What do you take? Chinese ACGMU carrier or the PBV-302?
That's the only option.
I'll take the red arrow just because you're gonna take this one because you love it so much.
It's labeled as a tank destroyer.
It doesn't have the best traverse. It can't.
Did it have scouting? Did anybody see?
So it's only really from the front and this sort of side over here. But it's kind of nice. So if there's anything light that is sneaking up, you can actually knock it out with that, which is kind of nice.
Kind of nice.
There's okay depression on the launcher. It's 10. But
did it have scouting? Did anybody see?
That it fires,
please give this thing scouting. Don't do this to me again.
So you can be a little bit more survivable.
Don't do this to me.
With it as well.
I'm sorry to say.
It's pretty nice. So
thank you for the subscription. I'm in business. Thank you for continuing to support the channel.
Yeah, like
it's very much appreciated. Thank you very much, man.
The most exciting thing in the world.
Hopefully you're doing well.
Gives you more options, which is really nice. Always happy to see that. So
show the mods. Show the mods.
ATGM carriers that could have been added. This is one of the coolest, I must say.
This one has the auto cannon.
Next up, we also have a pair of premiums for Sweden, starting off with the Norwegian Leopard 1A5.
This is such a odd practice. I really like it.
This should be in the tree.
It's going to be identical
to
this one should be in the tree.
That you know and love. It's a very capable vehicle for the bat rating with laser rangefinder, thermals as well.
It didn't have scouting.
This one,
shell. You can't really go wrong with this. It is going to be very versatile.
This one should be in the tree. The other one you can keep it as a premium.
If you like leopards,
I want to know what's going on with this thing. Let's see.
Yeah, the TML. I wonder.
As far as I'm aware, this one is going to replace the TML for sale because the TML has some features currently in the game that aren't supposed to be there, and instead of removing that or changing the vehicle itself,
so what's going on there?
Some Swedish fuck gave them dodgy information.
Yeah, there's a fucking traitor in our midst.
Yeah, there's some traitor. Fuck.
No loader, which is
they were in China. Of course, they were also gonna be in Sweden.
You get your loader knocked out because there is no loader. Although at the same time,
they've pre-leaked classified information before it went official.
So have access to GM33 as well.
I mean, okay, so does everybody who gets a TML just like gets this?
Since the Leopard is not a light tank, it won't.
Oh, they're gonna be doing the thing that they did for the Italian shit.
Yeah,
that they're gonna be
change it.
And they're gonna give you a discount for this one, brother.
For new vehicles, I'm just quickly going to show you again the projection analysis because this one.
Then we're gonna have a bunch of people calling to sue Gaijin again.
Yeah, try it.
Through the internal plates, which are now
look at that damage though.
I really like that. It's such a nice feature as well.
It is quite nice.
It had the TML French turret with no stab, the same as the MX-10RC.
So
they're going to be doing that.
So yeah, I think a lot of
they
people
could have just taken away the stab and
just
Israel, putting it down.
It's very difficult to find information.
Yeah, well, they're going to be doing that, but I guess they want to keep it as a.
So we get some.
That's why that 1A5 is so unnecessary. Like I don't know why they pulled that one through.
And a couple Macabre here as well. To put
he just said it's very hard to get information on the supported vehicles of Israel.
Very similar. I'll see if I can remember.
Seems very odd since one of them's the giraffe.
Just the version of the premium, but without the
It's just an M1 once again.
We got 5. has.
And I think one of their low tier Jays was just an M3 half track with a 20 mil one.
On this platform.
That doesn't seem very complex to me.
6 new Magachs.
Stabilized.
6.
Has the round as well. So
hope you're ready.
Stabilizer, a bit more armor.
Shit.
As it has
It's pattern time.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, let's got plenty of content for fucking Israel.
I like the look of this.
Hey,
it
honey,
like
it's pattern time. No.
Alex, it's time to play with your
Is that the biggest
M48, M60 and yes, honey.
Yes, honey.
It's huge.
It is pretty immense. I like it. So yeah,
stabilizer. Yes, honey. God bless the pattern line.
111 and thermals as well. So pretty nice. Lots more to add to the lineup. And finally the 6C as well.
I like that line.
Why
do they call a giant search like you with thermals?
So it's a lot more ability for the lineup.
You're gonna be pretty. You're gonna be trash.
In the tech tree, they're just basically filling out the Magach line. The Magachs, of course, are based on the M48 and.
Please put the Merc Mark 3s like after the Galbatash. Just please.
This one really needs some more variety, man.
Now, we have a few minutes left, unless you want to show something else.
I will get the chat open.
Okay, so
show the ATF9.
Show the Japanese destroyer. I want to see what it is.
We're going to do a
show the PvE again
and see if we can answer some of your more pressing questions. Omnispotente, don't look at it too much. It's not the vehicle that you can have in the lineup, the MK1 Predator. It's currently premium because that's just what it is. Don't worry, it's not a vehicle that you can buy. It's not even a vehicle that you can have in your lineup. It is only in our lineup for demonstration.
Yeah, no Royvalk yet.
Once the update drops, or rather when you get your hands
on
I
forgot about that
server, it will act very much like the
show the T60 again,
as
please.
In it will automatically be added to your lineup when you go into a battle, but you can't see them otherwise. That means you can't customize them, you can't get any.
Show me that little British riverboat.
And in terms of RP,
the Arrow.
These strike drones will be added towards the research of the plane that you are currently researching.
No French Navy.
So
once again,
Alaska,
French mains on suicide
the Alaska is placed here after Pittsburgh, and for the shell
French
performance,
Navy.
Probably screenshot this if you want. That's
what a waste.
And the APHE as well.
Someone asked if more Chinese helicopters are coming. Yes, the ones that we have currently here.
No, the tree is done. That fucking question.
This tech tree
fucking hell.
Launches.
Is there gonna be more vehicles in the future?
Like 10 years with this fucking game, and they still ask for future vehicles.
Is there gonna be more stuff?
More vehicles that are currently in the works.
There it is. There you go. The Arrow.
So it was,
fantastic.
It was a 50
This is just like that the American one they just added.
Got the Bofors in the front.
The Queen Queen.
The Queen Queen.
The licensed version, but frontal 40mm for little ships is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Someone else
Bofors,
asked
fantastic.
of the Skink as well.
The 27 British line is pretty good with those speedboats, eh?
If we go for
Ace
Skink. Yeah. So you can see the Max here as well.
I like when they do it. Like, who's making this shit? Who's making these big aces? And let's put them at expert or some shit like that.
That's with the drive on. I guess I can take the drive off as well. That should be everything.
You still have an ace crew, so like it's still gonna.
No, because no, he put it on holiday, so it doesn't count.
If the Tab 93 will get scouting drones.
No British aircraft? Nah, we don't need any of that.
Only light tanks.
But tree is the best tree anyway.
Will get access to the
don't fight drones. Don't at me.
Right.
Keyboard, what does the Tech Tree SU-25 have over the Premium one? Currently, nothing really. They are very, very similar.
It has slightly better missiles.
Air-to-air missile, but in terms of ground ordnance, they are basically identical.
It has the missiles which are better against countermeasures, but you're hardly going to face countermeasures.
It should be that you keep the currently sold CV90-105 TML. The new CV90-105 is likely going to be a vehicle that will then be sold from the point that the update launches. And
okay,
so you'll keep the TML.
That is usually how it works.
No, they never removed stuff. Like they never remove them. They just modify them and shit, but they never remove content from you.
Sorry, we don't have them available just yet. What's the power of the Mirage 2K engine? I can show you.
It is gonna be, depending on how low they're gonna put it, it's gonna be disappointing either way. Like not having the stabilizer for the machine is gonna be, it's gonna be kind of off.
The classic
will the new effects affect the low performance devices? They may, although usually we do take care in not making new effects too taxing on lower-end systems. You should not be having any
Relax with those statements. Relax with them. That's, you know, you literally had an update like two or three updates ago where you massively improved the minimum requirements. Those questions need to, you know, like leave them alone.
Oh, this one the other day we were talking with Nocturnal if this one is gonna have some upgrade drones. I guess not, man.
The Slurpager, nice. 44mm at H3, fantastic.
I remember telling him that any autocannon is better than nothing, but it's still very lame.
Although this is a ground attack aircraft, not really a fighter jet. So as you can see, it does not get access to any.
This thing's going to be the same as the MiG-19S. This is really weird.
Will we see tornadoes update? No.
No tornadoes. So.
Can you show the
probably gonna be up there?
Yep, we can. I have a feeling
KM5?
This on account of our mods collusion. This is the IGN.
There you go.
It's very actually nice looking. I like the single.
Oh yeah, it was a little Russian cheap, like a 1-3, like one of those coastal vessels.
This is late World War II. That's cool. It'll have the cool torpedoes.
Okay, so the CV90 XC8 will replace the TML.
Maybe we'll have some actual use in the game.
Yeah, hopefully.
Can you show the new damage effects? You are going to have a better time looking at those in the dev blog. They're better displayed there. On stream, the quality isn't going to be the best.
Did they say the dev server was going to be today?
We have, but it's not ideal.
Not
it's
yet.
really good though, actually. They
It was commissioned in 1930s.
I like like this because it affects basically all of the game at once.
Well, hopefully they
like
fucking
a
modified
really
it.
nice,
like
retrofitted
nice, the classic Japanese way. Oh shit, it's 1943 and America has planes. Add all of the 20s and all of the cool torpedoes.
America's fucking blasting us out of anything.
In fact, there is a bunch of vehicles that are coming that are in the works that we have not shown off today. You will be able to see them likely in a future dev server. Speaking of dev server, don't forget, the dev server will be public in about 1 hour from now. That's what we have planned. It may get delayed. See. If you want access, all that you need to do is download the dev server. It is a separate client, and you will be able to log in with your main account.
Time to crack bones and let's go, boys.
Check out all these new vehicles yourselves.
Oh yeah, other point. A lot of the top ships actually are now at 7.0, so it's not just Alaska. A lot of them actually are now up there as well.
Decompression once
pretty much all like the top contenders are at 7.0. It's not just the Alaska. No worries. Oh.
Goblin Bat. Do the scout drones and predator drones show up on radar? You know what? Let's try that out actually real quick.
They do. It showed up on the K50.
We're going to do a quick custom battle and see if they
pander into the minority of top tier navals. That's going to work out pretty good.
Check out
maybe you're going to stick them. Maybe you're going to stick them a couple of premiums in the future. Make your bug out of it.
I will invite you real quick. We'll try out both the recon drone and the predator drone.
So the other ones appear to be not ready, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, they
keep showing the predator and the triangle.
Fire extinguishers for tanks, basically.
God,
what pen of the 20mm on the T129? Not much. I think it's about 50mm, I want to say. It's not going to be the greatest amount.
They did retrofit it with AA. It's not going to be good.
The dev server is planned
it will not have long lances, only Type 89s.
Very if all goes well, it may get
useless as well.
Launch today. We hope it will. We hope it will. Okay, I am in my.
Hey, Sajedlot, nice to see you.
You got a radar SPA. We'll try out the recon drone first. As you can see, it takes a while, a few seconds. I can show you actually in red mode. At the bottom,
so the Russians one, the Russian one was.
There we go.
Was struggling with this times, and this guy had time to spare.
Jeez.
On the right spawn.
I'm going to fly high and see if you can ping me, or rather spot me on radar.
Okay, looking.
Thank you for the subscription, Solar's Energy. Thank you for continuing to support the channel.
Your left.
It's very much appreciated.
Yeah, I can't see you.
Oh shit!
Drones
are invisible.
Not show up on radar, although it may be that the trees are hiding my presence a little bit.
Yeah, it could be just not sort of worked on yet.
Yeah, I can see you below.
They're really hard to spot. It's kind of nice actually.
It is a very small drone.
Yeah.
Very, very small. So you don't need to worry too much about people shooting them down, unless of course they get a lock with your fuse shells. Those may actually be able to destroy these. quite easily, but other than that, no. Doesn't seem like you're able to get a lock. Let's try out the Predator drone then. Ah!
Hey, it went right past you. Oh no. Well, I managed to scare the
What the fuck was that?
With the missiles.
Jeez.
Very cool. Okay.
We'll see in a bit on that talk. Let's see what happens when I spawn this one, and if you are able to kill me.
Leave the bear alone.
Oh, far.
This is the one issue that they spawn quite far away, at least currently, and they are quite slow, so they'll take.
There's no way there's no way that stays in. There's no way you fucking spawn this thing 15k away, man.
No, they're gonna
They've got to change that. Sure.
They're gonna release it. It's gonna stay, or they're gonna replace it completely. I think you mentioned.
Yeah, it's gonna be replaced, is what the answer I got. Very brief answer.
So the current ones are going to get replaced, or is it the current one stay and then the other one becomes available on top of that?
I need to actually completely clarify. Everyone is very busy at the moment. It's hard to get everything.
Devs are very, very busy and trying to make the dev server ready for you guys.
I also feel like this should have been a clarification thing. Like this should have been known, you know?
Yeah.
Is the Mirage 2000 coming to China?
No, they're talking about the CV90. Like, will it get
replaced?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Every time they change a product like that, they have to inform it. Probably gonna be in the coming days.
So while we wait for this, it's dad joke time.
Follow the same game logic as well.
Oh no.
What do you call a square? What do you call a square that's been in an accident? A rectangle.
Or maybe. Was it a fluke? Actually, you're getting close to the buildings there. That's why.
Fantastic.
You're sort of in the gap. Right, gap.
Can you actually spot me with your thermal visions?
We can.
This one doesn't have it.
Oh, I see. I see. I guess I'll just try and get a bit closer.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'll keep looking. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Will UAV give SL and RP? Yes, the recon drones, any actions you take with them will give you more research towards your currently researched ground vehicle, as well as modifications
using the
vehicle that you launch them from.
Yep.
The strike drones will give you research points towards the aircraft that you're currently researching. And
so you couldn't lock on to the scout one, but can lock on to this one.
I don't remember what range this one has. I'll try it though. You are invisible on my for my eyes. I can't see. I will trust in the circle.
I cannot see. Oh, I see the missile. It was a bit too far away. I'll get a little bit closer.
Poor Roland.
No, he's using Roland 1. That's fine.
Oh, I should also mention the zoom is quite high. You may want to use the key binding to attach the zoom to your scroll wheel so you can have a bit more granularity.
The TML can't be changed on specs, right? Yeah, they can change it if they want.
Missile.
It causes a bit of controversy, but they can do it.